Okay, we're going to start the new parak, Daf Kuf Samach 160. Yeah, I think content-wise, I think Baba Basra is already over. The last chapter is you would expect it to be more, well, it's about documents. Okay, whatever it is, it adds another 16 block. Okay, we thank Hashem that we're able to learn Torah every day. Sorry. We're learning the basic English immediately. Learning the Nishmas, have a gold of Basra Binyamin Sanos of Mitzian, and also Bush Lima, the Mansara. That's all as my father. Very amazing. Levi. So the chapter starts like this. Get Pashat. Get doesn't just mean a divorce document. Get could also mean any document. And Get Pashat is in contrast to Get Makusha. Get Pashat means a straight document. And what we're going to learn about is the Get Makusha, which is a tied document. So it says like this: a Get Pashat, a simple document, Eda Mitaychai. The witnesses sign inside the document. The way it was done was that at the end of the document, you would write Hakal Shar V'Kayam. Everything is Shar means strong, but it means everything is correct and established, and then the witnesses would sign. Everything is confirmed. Shar would be confirmed. Makusher, on the other hand, a tied document, they sign on the back of it. So I don't know if I have a paper here. I feel like a blank paper somewhere, or even a tissue, a napkin, whatever. So a get makusher would go like this. They would write a line. They would write a line up here. Yeah. Then they would leave a line blank. And then this is according to the Rashbam. They would leave a line blank. And then they would fold over the written line. Let me just put it down. See it. Then they would write another line, this, and then they would fold it up to cover that over with a blank line. So the written word was being protected and covered by a blank line, and then it would come over. So in the end, you would have like what would look like a fan, and each fold was tied. Yeah. Yeah, and Gittin mentions the Get Makusha, but this is like the basis.
I don't know if I remember from last round, Daf Yomi or Gittin.
Maybe. This is good, but this here you can. Okay, so it would work like this. Now, not the entire document was folded. Only the part of the document that was unique to this document. There's two parts to every document, right? There's the Tairif and the typhus, and yeah. So the tairif was the part that was folded. That was what was unique. That had the names and the date and place. Oh, they have pictures. Oh, okay, in the article there's pictures, and probably in the Quran there's also pictures. Yeah. Yeah, they don't have real pictures, I don't think, because I don't think we have this was out of circulate. This was not done for many years. The Rishonim didn't have it. I get them kosher, and even in the possibly even the Tanoim weren't familiar with it. We're going to see. So we'll see why they would do this. special document that was all tied up. They would tie it because it was parchment, so they could tie it on the fold. They could seal it shut. So Pashat Shekasvu Eidav Me'acherav. A simple document, a regular straight document that the witnesses signed on the back. Makusha Shekasvu Eidav Mitaychay. Or a tied document where they signed it inside. Shnei Psulim, both that is possible. Because they made these very distinct halachas for each of these documents. Shnei Psulim, both possible. Rabbi Chanina ben Gamliel Leimer says something over there that you want to tell me?
We have something similar like this today. If you want to have like an official timestamp on a document, you can mail it to yourself. And as long as you keep the envelope sealed. The post office will stamp it with the date that it was mailed.
Okay. And then why would you need a document that's dated like that?
One reason that I know of is like someone has an idea, they could write it down and like mail it to themselves, and if someone else like uses that idea, they could claim.
Still saying that people like date certain documents, like if they have ideas or something and they mail it to themselves, and it gets because the post office marks it, so then it's considered dated by the postmark. Okay. Rabbi Chanina ben Gamliel Leimer, Makusher Shekasvu Eidav Mitaychay. If there was a tied document that the witnesses signed on the inside, it's not the way it's done, but it's kosher. It's kosher. Because you can make it into a simple document. Now, this is interesting because according to the Rashbam, you skip the line. Yeah. According to Taisvus learns that you did not skip a line. You folded, it was ink against ink. When you folded it up, so that would be clearer over here, according to this, because there were no skipped lines. Or maybe you're allowed to skip a line in documents as long as it's equal, as long as it's symmetrical. I'm sorry, I skipped you. Everything goes according to the custom. Yeah, that would be a problem. Okay, get Pashat, a simple document. Eidav Shnayim. The witnesses are two. You have two witnesses on the document, right? Makusher, but a tied document, B'shleisha, that's going to be three witnesses. You need to have an extra witness on a tied document. Pashat Shekasav B'yedechad. If you have a simple document with only one witness, or Makusher Shekasav B'shnayim, Shnei Edim. Or you have a tied document that has two witnesses, Shnei Psulim, both of them are pasul.
The value of a document that's tied, that means once it's open, you know whether or not someone has read it.
It was
Like
more complicated. My modern example of this is, when they sign you up to some subscription and then you have to cancel and you can't figure out how to cancel. Like you go through, it takes like a half hour so you email them and then they say, oh yeah, okay, it's canceled. So anyway, the get makusher was one of these like complicated things that the Gemara is going to say on the next page, that Kayanim would get upset at their wives because they were temperamental. They would fit of rage, and they would like divorce their wife, and then they couldn't marry the wife back. So they made this complicated get to like slow them down, and, so they could rethink their. That's the basic thing. Now once they did it, we're calling it a get makusher. Yeah, we're calling it a get makusher but really get means any document. And they had these documents besides for gittin as well. It was such a document. Okay. Minani Mili, the Gemara starts off discussing that maybe this is a Torah source. And what's our source that there's two types of documents, that you need two types of witnesses and they sign differently? Well, Amar Rabbi Chanina says, this is a Chanina Barchama, Talmud of Rebbe. Amar Kra.
Oh, great.
Pasuk says,
Zev and Aviv are in the hospital with the baby. Great timing.
okay. The pasuk says, "Sadis b'kesef yitnu v'kasayiv v'sefer v'chasayim v'hoyd edim." This was when the Yidden were going into Gullus, and the Navi was telling them that they should buy fields, and they should put the documents into jugs, and they should hold them. Yeah. So it says over here that they should buy fields with money, and they should write documents, and they should sign witnesses. And then it says after that, I think, that they would put them into clay jugs to hold them. Well, the Gemara says, when it says that you should buy fields with money and you should write it in a document, is that pashat? That's a regular document. The chasayim, and then it says when you should sign them, is that makusha? That's referring to an extra special signing, which would be only on a tied document. V'hoid, and then it says v'hoid and witnesses. Now the Gemara tells us that whenever it says the word witness, it's always referring to two witnesses. That's the Gemara Saita. So it says v'hoid shnayim. There's two witnesses. That means two. And then it says edim, which is a plural. It ends in a yud mem. It's a plural. So that's shleisha. That means it's three witnesses. Where do you have the three witnesses? That's talking about the get makusher. Haketzad. How is this? Shnayim lepashat. Two witnesses for a simple document, and shleisha lemakusher, and three witnesses for a tied document. Okay. Maybe it's exactly the opposite. Maybe you should have three witnesses on a regular document and two witnesses on the tied document. It says because you have more halachas, you made it more complicated. You have to make knots. So they're more machmer. So they're more machmer about how many witnesses you have as well. Okay, so that's one source that there are two types of documents. Rafam Amar Mehacha. Rafam says from the same chapter in Yirmiyah, we have another pasuk. It says, "Ve'ekacha sefer hamek." Now, this is it. You take the document of purchase, esachasoim, the signed, the sealed, hamitzvah v'achukim v'esagoli, the laws and other types of laws, and esagoli probably means like a document as well. What does it call it? And they translate it? In the revealed one. Okay, so now the Gemara explains what the pasuk is referring to. Now we should take this document of purchase pashat. That's a regular document. Esachasam, when it says the sealed one, zemakusher. That's the tied one. Vesagoli and the revealed zepashat shebemakusher. This is inside the tied get. You had also the template, which did not need to be tied. So you would have only like certain lines of the get were tied. The other part was left hanging open. You know, like pull here, like
It's not necessarily get. It's
any document.
not
Yeah.
about land.
I'm sorry. Over here it's talking about purchase land.
Mortgages.
Right. Right. The term get, it just means star. Because the Gemara talks about get choiv, which means a document.
So this would mean that the typeface, the boilerplate, would always be at the top.
I thought it was more like in the middle, towards the bottom. Before it said the bottom line was always a repeat of the specific. Right. The top was the date and the names and the place. So that would be the tairif. And then in the center, it would be the typhus.
So the folding could be on the top and the bottom, and the middle would be plain?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's what it seems. So Zeh Pashat Shemakusher Hamitzvah V'Achukim, the laws and the statutes. These are the distinctions that are between the simple document and the tied document. Haketzad, how is this? Zeh Eidav Shnayim, Zeh Eidav Shleisha. This one has 2 witnesses. This one has 3 witnesses. Zeh Eidav Mitayche. This one signs on the front of the document. Zeh Eidav Macher, and this one signs on the back of the document. Maybe it's exactly the opposite. My answer is the same answer. It says why it's the one that's more strict, has the more witnesses. So far we have 2 sources for 2 types of documents. Rami Bar Yecheskel Amar Mehacha. Rabbi Bar Yecheskel, he says we have another source. We had Rafram, Rami Bar Yecheskel, and Rabbi Chanina. Well, it says that the matter is established with 2 witnesses or 3 witnesses. This is the Gemara in Makkas. The Gemara asks this: if you have 2 witnesses, that's kosher. Why do you need 3? Right? That's the obvious question. This is in business, right? They always hear. They say, it's $4 or $5. So one of them heard $4, one of them heard $5. But over here, so if it's 2 witnesses, why do you need 3 witnesses? So Leimalach, it's coming to tell you, Shnayim Lepashat. A simple document has 2. Shleisha Lemakusher. It's coming to tell you the other type of document, but you need 3 witnesses. The tied document needs 3 witnesses. Very good. It fits with the pasuk. Maybe it's the opposite. We give the same answer. No, because we're more machmer with that document, so we're also more machmer about the witnesses.
The signer is considered a witness.
You mean the person himself? That's like purchasing or selling. He's not a witness.
And plus 3 other
No, and actually, usually on documents, Jewish documents, you don't have that person signed. Like a marriage document, like for example, the chassan doesn't have to sign. It's 2 witnesses sign.
Wow.
He just has to make he just has to make a kinyan, and they have to witness that. On a loan document, the borrower writes the document. The document in his own handwriting is valid, right? That's valid. The document is on handwriting without any signatures. I think. I think that's valid. On a get, I forget what it says. I think maybe that's valid as 1 signature, even if he doesn't sign, just his own handwriting on the document. There was something about that. I don't remember the details. Okay. The Gemara now asks, we're learning about we're on page 160b. We're learning about the document that was tied up, every fold where they sewed it shut. That's what we're learning about. So we're looking for a source for that in the Torah. We have 3 sources. The Gemara now says, really? You think those are sources? Those are used for something else. Look at the Tanya was taught in a brisa. When it says that you should buy the fields with money and you should write it in a document and seal it, that's just telling me an Eitz Taiva that what you should do to hold on to those documents. It says, and put it in a klicheres. The pasuk says that it should last for many days, and over there the Gemara says that after 3 years you don't have to hold the documents, right? Because of the chazaka. Right? Well, then it says vekacha sefer mikna. You take the document of purchase. That was the story. That's what happened. And I will take the document of purchase. This is the Gemara Makkas that's coming to tell me over there. We use this pasuk for something else. What do we use this pasuk for? Over there it says, "Beplikted Rabbi Kiva Rabbanan." There's a machlekes Rabbi Kiva and Rabbanan. What we use it for if I remember correctly, it had to do with Adam Zimmerman. That one opinion was Achiyazuma Kulam, that if there's witnesses there, you can't. Adam Zimmerman is the second group of witnesses say that. How could you say that this and this happened? You were with us somewhere else. The only way you can get rid of those witnesses, if there's two witnesses, you have to say both of you were with us. If there's three witnesses, you have to say all three of you. You have to do hazama on all of them. So the extra three is coming to tell me that chumrah, that in order to make Adam Zayman, you have to get all of them. And then Rabbi Akiva's opinion was that if there was an extra witness there that was related, he would invalidate the whole group, because witnesses aren't allowed to be related. So one extra witness. Yeah, so anyway, the Gemara uses this. I think if he was considering himself witness, so they told him, remember that Gemara? But what would happen if two brothers saw someone killed? So that means they can't testify. That was the question they had on Rabbi Akiva. But whatever the case is, that concept of two witnesses or three witnesses, that's already discussed, and we use it. We learn other things from that. I'm missing one point. There's another thing that the Gemara learns from it. The Gemara learns that just like three Adam Zaymim can get rid of two Adam Zaymim, can get rid of two witnesses, right? The Adam Zaymim are stronger. The second group of witnesses is stronger, but so too two witnesses can get rid of three. It's not just because it's more. That's another point the Gemara brings up. Okay. Yeah.
We don't know if they're both saying opposite things. This happened, and the three people say it didn't happen. They're stronger than three people?
No, straight Kameya. Two is like 100.
Right.
Yeah. But when it comes to Adam Zayman, second group of witnesses is actually stronger. Contradictory witnesses, that's Adam Chasha, contradicting, so they just cancel each other out. Even if there's more witnesses here than there, just cancel each other out. But Adam Zayman, when they come and they say you were with us, it's Xer Sakasav that the second group of witnesses is stronger. Yeah, if you ever need to get rid of the first group, don't just say you're liars. Just cancel you out. You have to say you were with us. How could you say this? You weren't even there. Yeah.
And the two witnesses are saying number one.
And the two witnesses are saying, no, we were here, we were watching the whole event. Yeah. Second group. The second group is the group that came after that says, yeah. Yeah. They
But it would work the other way around also.
the one.
Three of them said we witnessed this. Three of them said you were with
Yeah,
us.
that's what we learn, that even two, we compare that even two people can get rid of three people. That's the chiddush of this of the yeah.
How are they stronger?
The second group is always stronger than the Adam Zayman men. Akasha, they're equal. They both cancel each other out. But when Adam Zayman men, they get the second group of witnesses is believe, and the first group does not believe.
Gezerah Kasuv. It doesn't lend itself to logical explanation.
Right. There's a custom. Remember in Crown Heights, this fight, someone got beaten up, and the guy said that it was someone with a red beard. Remember this? You remember when this happened?
Everyone knew who it was.
Well, there are a few people with red beards, and one of them proved that it wasn't him because he was at the movies. He had a ticket at the movie, which was a little bit embarrassing in Lubavitch, to go to. But he got himself free from that. Yeah.
But a red beard's enough to get it. Red beard would have been enough to lock him up.
They were going after every red beard there. Okay.
You know how the system works. Interview them so one of them admits to it.
When I got robbed, so the detective came to my house and said, okay, now tell me who it was. Don't look at They gave me a bunch of pictures. Don't look at the clothing. Don't look at the hair. Don't look at the glasses. You can't look at any of that. Just look at the eyes. Like, I didn't see his eyes. I can't tell it.
Wasn't that intimate?
I can't.
He was
The
wearing
last
a
thing-
mask.
I wasn't wearing a mask, but he didn't let me look at his eyes.
And what if you had sunglasses?
Right. Yeah, that's it. Finished.
Unicorn.
Okay. So we have other sources. So the Gemara answers like this: Elamakusher midrabanan. The Kriyas Machta Ba'alma. It's a classic. This concept of this tied get is only rabbinic, and the psukim are just a support. The support could be that it helps you remember. It helps you remember another concept because psukim people were more familiar with. The time of my Tkinu Rabbanim Makusha, why was this even instituted? If the rabbis instituted, why was it instituted? Asr the Kanihavi, it was a place of Kayanim. Vahabikapti Tuva Megarshin Shasaya, they were very uptight and they would divorce their wives. They were like easy to upset. What's the word that they use for kapti? They took offense easily. Okay. Abdi Rabbanan Takanta, it could be the reason why is because they felt that they're so high, such high lineage. What? For me, you burnt my toast?
You burnt the shlomi.
Abdi Rabbanan Takanta, and the sages made an institution. That in the interim they should calm down. Yeah. So they make it more complicated. That makes sense when it comes to divorce document. What about the regular documents? It says and so we don't make a distinction between regular documents. Tesra says that maybe people wouldn't do the divorce documents like this if regular documents were not like this. They would just let it pass through. So they made it for Kayanim, you have to make documents Mukusha. Okay. Heichon Edim Chaisman. Where do the witnesses sign? Well, Rav Huna Amar, they were talking about on the get Mukusha. Rav Huna Amar ben Kesher l'Kesher. Rav Huna says between each knot, between each that was sewn up, each fold was sewn. This is what we were looking at over here. Yeah, each fold was sold, so they would sign. The Gemara is thinking now that, remember we said according to the Rashbam there was a blank. They wrote on the top, then they left the line blank, and then they folded that over. Now in that fold, in that part it's back, that would actually have a signature. That's what we're thinking now, but the Gemara is going to adjust that shortly. So, Rav Yirmiyah Barama
on the back. I mean, it was signing on the fold, but on the back.
but no. So far, it's in the inside. We're going to get to the back soon, but so far they're signing on the inside, the part that blocks the ksav. There's the written part of the document. They would sign there, and then they would put it there, and then they would have to sign again, and then
So
they
they
would
were still on the same side.
on the same side, yeah. But the Gemara is going to adjust it shortly. Rav Yirmiyah Baramba Amar Acheri Aksav. The opposite. You would write it on the back of the written side. Exactly opposite. So if I wrote, like on the so over there you would write exactly. You would have to sign exactly the back right behind what was written. You would have to sign the. Well, Amalei Rav Yirmi, I'm sorry, Amalei Rami Bar Chama Rav Chisda. Rami Bar Chama asks his father-in-law, Rav Chisda. He says, his teacher, Rav Huna, according to the first opinion, Damar ben Kesher l'Kesher, he says that you have to sign between the folds, between the knots. Kasal Kadait ben Kesher l'Kesher mikavoy. You think it means. If you think it means inside, if you think it means that you're signing inside the way we were explaining it, there was a get makusher that came to Rebbe. Rebbe looked at it, he didn't see the date. And a get without a date is puzzle. Amalei, Reb Shimon Berebi, his son, he tells him, the Rebbe, Shema ben Ksharv Mavla. Maybe it's in the knotted part. Sounds like Rebbe wasn't familiar with the get makusha. Could be already back then they didn't have it.
Earlier commentary, I mentioned that people.
Rambam and Tur entirely omit the laws of bound documents. Moreover, Re maintains that even Kohanim were never obligated by their Messiah's bound, merely encouraged to do so. Let me see your. I would say something at the beginning. In the 1960s, Thai documents from the period of Bar Kokhba were unearthed in a cave in Judea. Now, Bar Kokhba is before Rebbe's time. Bar Kokhba is, 50 years at least before Rebbe. Yeah, Bar Kokhba was like 130. So on these, the entire text of the documents was written twice on the same piece of parchment, with the first copy folded, tied, and sealed to ensure its integrity. The second copy was left open for easy reference. Okay. Witnesses signed on the back of the document with one signature for every stitch tying the sealed copy. This model differs considerably from Rashi's explanation, more closely resembling opinion of Ramah. Okay, I didn't go through the Ramah or whatever, but apparently they found some documents way back. Not yeah. That's interesting. Seamus. They found it in the Seamus. So they came to Rebbe. Rebbe says maybe it was the date is in the folds. Palia B'chazye. What's Palia? They opened it up, and they saw it. They saw the date there. And if the signing is also inside, why did Rebbe just say there's no date? Should say there's no signatures, because where's the signatures? It's where the date is. It's in the inside. Rebbe should have said it's puzzle for two reasons. Amarle. So who's responding? Rav Chizder's responding. Mi sabers ben kesher lekesher migavoy. Do you think that they signed it on the inside? Gav means inside. Loi ben kesher lekesher me'avroi. They signed it between the knots on the outside. So how would that work? You would seal this like this, and then on the back over here you would sign it. Yeah, this is what they wrote on the inside. They folded it up, and then it got sewn over there. Over here, you could sign it, and then they would do right over here, and then they would this. So they would sealed here. It wasn't sewn here. So that over here they could sign on it. Okay. If they're signing on the back, on the Makim Aksa, if they write it, then we're back to Rabbi Yirmiyah Barabba. Who was it? Rabbi Yirmiyah Barabba. So where exactly did they sign on the back? Ben Kesher, Ben Kesher, Ben Kesher Me'avroi, Ben Charitze Aksharim. Rav Huna says between the knots. Rabbi Yirmiyah Barabba said they signed on the back. Now we're saying that Rav Huna says between the knots is also on the back. What's the difference? Okay, we'll see. We have tomorrow. The Gemara is going to explain Rabbi Yirmiyah Barabba. Amalei Misav. Okay, B'neicha are still mezayif. The kasam may deboy b'chas misadi. 1 second. If you're not signing directly under the document, then it could be that that people are adding things in there, right? If they're not. The way to make it, you're not supposed to leave a gap between the document and the signatures. That way no one can fill in any other conditions. This is only if you pay me, whatever. You can, that's you have to sign directly to that. But here you're signing on the back. So
And that track also.
yeah, they make a line.
Numbers, any zeros.
So it says, oh, don't worry about it. The Kasab Shar V'Kayim, because they wrote on the end, even though you didn't sign right afterward, but they wrote confirmed and established. Shar V'Kayim. Shar means hard. It's like confirmed. Hey, 1 second. If it's not other people signing it, then maybe they could write everything is confirmed and established. They make another line and they write again everything is confirmed and established. So it's Chad Shar V'Kayim Kasvinan, Trei Shar V'Kayim like Kasvinan. No, we know that trick. We'd say it's possible if you add an extra Shar V'Kayim. You can't do that twice. So it's V'leicher still mamachik leila Shar V'Kayim because of my debayiv, other because of Shar V'Kayim. Maybe they're going to erase the first Shar V'Kayim, write on top of it whatever they want, and then write Shar V'Kayim again. Rabbi Yochanan says, Taluya mekuyemes teshera. If you have words that are between the lines, you had to add in something, so you make a little arrow and you write between the lines. So what you do on the bottom is you write right before the signatures, or before Shar V'Kayim, you write that the following words are Beinei Chiti, are written between the lines, Beinei Shuri. These words are written between the lines, and then it's good. And then you write, that's how you show that there's a correction on the document. You write before the signatures, you write that in. So that's acceptable. But machak, but if you want to add, if you want to write in that something was erased, that's puzzle. Means you can't erase. You can add in, but you can't erase. Any erasure on the document is puzzle.
They'll misspell something.
Yeah. And then on the bottom, I've seen documents where on the bottom it says the word this was added to the Shura HaMaschelas something has two words that are Beinei Chite or something, and then they sign it. Called Shur V'Kayim. And today they initial it. If you have to do anything, just they initial the side. That's what they do. So v'afal pi shemakuyim, and even if it's like makuyim, I guess means signed on the bottom, it's still a problem. Now the Gemara says, where is there a problem with an erasure? That's only if the words that were erased are the words shar v'kayim. This is the perfect trick. You erase the word shar v'kayim, you add in whatever you want, and then you write again shar v'kayim. So he says if the erasure is the size of those words of shar v'kayim, then we don't trust it. If the erasure is smaller than shar v'kayim, then there's not going to be a problem with that.
But were they supposed to write anything else in that space? I thought that was the only thing they were supposed to write. That
yeah, but we were suspecting that maybe he's going to erase the shar v'kayim, write in something else, and then put a shar v'kayim at the end.
They weren't supposed to write anything.
Yeah, but what he's doing, we have a concern that he's going to add in a line with the stipulation, and he's going to put shar v'kayim at the end. There's no signatures on that side of the paper. The signatures are on the back. So the word shar v'kayim is going to be the conclusion of the document. We're afraid that he erased one shar v'kayim, put in another line, and wrote shar v'kayim again because it doesn't need to be witnesses that are doing it. So he said, no, any erasure is going to be puzzle, so we're not worried about that. Okay, let's leave it over here. Okay.